Welcome to Bollywood Rewind. In this video today, I am going to explain an Indian fantasy film called Paheli, where a shape-shifting ghost ends up falling in love with a newly married woman. Watch out for spoilers ahead. The story starts in the deserts of Rajasthan in India, with a girl being mildly jealous of her married friends. In search of true love, she agrees to the offer of an arranged marriage with the son of a very rich businessman. It is shown that the son of the rich businessman is mousy and is afraid to speak his mind in front of his domineering father. On the trip back home, the wedding party decides to take a short break on the way. They soon stop at a roadside inn, which is famously known as the residence of 100 spirits. The bride decides to go to the old well to freshen up and wash her hands and face. En route to the old well, a mischievous spirit gets interested in looking at the new bride's face. In an attempt to look at the beautiful bride, it takes the shape of a crow and starts to distract her. Then it changes into a playful squirrel to gain her attention. As a final attempt, the spirit takes the shape of a magnificent rare blue bird, but the bride still ignores it and walks towards the old well. The blue bird continues to follow her, and by this time, the bride senses something mysterious in the behavior of the animals. She becomes spooked as she notices wet footprints coming out of the well and flees towards her family. She continues to see the spirit after she's with her family and definitely realizes that something mysterious is behind her. Soon thereafter, the wedding party departs from the inn, leaving the infatuated spirit quite disheartened and defeated. On the first night after the wedding, the husband does not consummate the marriage and tells the bride that he is going to be leaving for 5 years to start a new business far away from home. The bride is shattered as she had been looking forward to a blissful married life. The next morning, the husband is sent off with many blessings from his family, but the bride is nowhere to be seen. The hopeless husband leaves without seeing his bride again. On the way, the husband stops at the same inn where they had stopped the day before. The spirit, upon witnessing that, is perplexed and wonders why the husband is here so soon after his marriage. The spirit becomes curious and sets out to solve the mystery. It takes the form of a random villager and confronts the husband, asking him about the situation. After realizing that the husband is leaving for 5 years, the shapeshifter decides to take his form and live with the beautiful bride. Upon return, the businessman is surprised and angry at the early arrival of his son. The ghost then makes up a story that on the way he had come across a monk who was extremely pleased with his devotion and gave him a blessing. He said that the monk told him that he will wake up to finding 5 gold coins under his pillow every morning. The greedy businessman accepts his son's return joyfully without asking any other questions. Everyone thinks that the husband has come back home, but in reality, it is only the shape-shifting spirit. The bride is joyful on her husband's return, but the ghost is unable to keep up the deception with her. He confesses that he is only a spirit who has taken on her husband's form. At first, she laughs it off, but the ghost reminds her of the crow, the squirrel, and the bluebird at the old well. He then confesses his love to her, saying that he will only stay if she wants him to. The bride is broken-hearted and starts crying. The ghost is unable to see her tears and turns to leave, but the bride has a change of heart and stops him from leaving. Now 2 years have passed and everybody in the family, including the bride, is happy. Thousands of miles away, the lonely husband has been constantly writing letters to his family, but the ghost continues to intercept them to avoid breaking his facade. The ghost continues to use his magic to provide the businessman with 5 gold coins every morning to keep him satisfied and not greedy for new business. The spirit then helps the family win the yearly camel race by using his magic to control the camels. This is considered as a miracle in the village because the family has never won the camel race before. The bride dislikes this as each bit of magic that he performs is yet another chance for him to be unmasked as an impostor. The real husband, who has been living away from his family for 4 years, cannot understand why he hasn't heard from his family and grows curious. Meanwhile, the bride becomes pregnant with the spirit's baby, and the family is extremely happy to hear the good news. Another 7 months have passed, and the bride is ready to give birth. And at the same time, the husband comes back home, and everyone becomes confused between who is the real and who is the fake husband. The real husband tries to prove his innocence to his family, but is unsuccessful. The bride, after a lot of struggle, gives birth to a girl. Considering that both the real and fake husband look extremely alike, there is no way to prove the right from wrong. The village committee then decides to go to the king's palace and let him decide on the final decision. On the route to the king's palace, the group meets an old shepherd who, after understanding the situation, offers to help them find who the real impostor is. The old shepherd asks a series of questions and ends up tricking the spirit by requesting the true lover of the bride to enter a water bottle. The ghost cannot disregard the request as he takes it as a challenge to prove his love for the bride. The ghost then transforms into his true form and enters the bottle to prove his love. Everyone is astonished and the businessman accepts the real husband as his real son. The real husband then throws the bottle into the desert to rot for eternity. The real husband is found out and everyone returns home. The bride is devastated over the loss of the ghost, but accepts her life. By the end of the movie, it is revealed that the ghost did escape the bottle and took control over the husband's body. The bride is extremely happy upon hearing the truth. The spirit permanently takes control of the husband's body and lives happily with the bride and the child. The end.